Good morning, Algebra 2 class. Mr. Myers, I hope you're all doing well. Yesterday started out as a kind of a rough day as far as the weather, but then it got much nicer. And today looks like it's going to be great as far as the weekend as well. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy some of this nice weather. So as you can see, our do now is to divide 4,321 by 12 and use long division. So do not use your calculator. So pause it right now and divide it. All right, if you didn't remember how to divide using long division, that's okay. That's what we're going to be working on. So if we look at how we set it up when we do long division, is we put the number we're dividing by on the outside. So we have 12. And then we do all this division symbol. And this just helps us to keep things in order. So then we write 4,321. And when the first thing that we do when we divide is we see can 4, so we start with the number on the inside, can 4 divide 12? And we're like, no, how about 43 divided by 12? And we're like, yeah, that divides 3 times. And then we have some left over. So now after we divide, so our first step is to divide, then we're going to multiply. So 3 times 12, we get 36. And then so after we multiply, then what do we do next? That's right, you're remembering, we subtract. So let's subtract these two. And notice that it's like basically switching the sign. So 36 was positive, now it's negative. So 6 goes into 3, we need to do some carrying, but we can see that 43 minus 36 gives us 7. And then, so our third step was what we did is we subtracted. And then what's our next step? That's right, we bring down the number, so we bring down a 2. All right, so 72 divided by 12, that's actually an even. It evenly divides 6 times. So then 6 times 12, we get 72. When we subtract, we get a 0. And then we bring down the number still. So notice I'm still following the same steps. Divide, multiply, subtract. Oh, I forgot that. The next one. The fourth thing that we did is we bring down number. And then our fifth step, repeat. So bring down the 1. Can 12 go into 1? Nope. So then what can happen, there's a couple ways that we can go from here. We can either write a remainder. And since we brought down a number, we got 0, 1 divided by 12 becomes 0. So we write 0 here. So there's a couple ways we can do this. One, we can either write a remainder. What a remainder means is it means that it's really this number that's left over, 1, and we divide it by 12. So it's really going to look like this. It's going to be, we've written it like this before in math, remainder 1. But what we can also do is a remainder is really like writing 1/12. So it's 360 and 1/12. So we can write, instead of remainder, we can write 360 and 1/12. Now there's another way that we can do this, and that's right, we can put a decimal point here and we just keep dividing. So if we just move this remainder part, move this part 2 to the side, and we'll leave the 360 up here. So we can also put a decimal point, and then we just add a 0, and then it's like, okay, so it can't go into 10. So then what do we do next? If it doesn't go into 10, then we bring down another number. So how many times does 12 go into 100? Well, it's 100 divided by 12. So 12 times 8 is, that's right, it's 96. So then if we divide, it would be 8. So notice that we have to put some more zeros here. We have an 8. And then 8 times 12 is 96. We subtract that, we get 4. We can bring down another number. So we bring down a 0. 40 goes into 12, 3. And then 3 times 12, 36. 4. So then a 0. And what are we noticing here? So it's going to be another another 40. 40 divided by 12 is 3. So we're going to see that this ends up repeating. So it's just going to keep going. 0, bring it down, 30, or 3, and then 12 divided by, or 40 divided by 12, we get 36. So it'll just keep repeating. So then what do you think 1/12 is? What's 1 divided by 12? So with your calculator, you can do 1 divided by 12. And what do you think that's going to be? That's right. It should be this decimal here that we have. So if we look, 0.083 repeating. So 0.083 repeating. So notice that we're getting the same thing. It's just that a fraction, again, is the same as a decimal, right? So remainder 1 is what you did in the past. Fraction, decimals, we're more familiar with looking at it these ways. But I bring this up because when we divide polynomials, is really what we're going to be doing. We can't, a polynomial doesn't become a decimal. That's another way of writing numbers. We're going to leave it in this fraction form. So we're going to be looking at it more in this way. We're going to get a remainder, but then we'll put it back over what we originally had, because it's going to tell us more about the polynomial. So these are our steps. So that's a pretty long do now, but notice that we're going to be doing long division. Same steps that we've done before, it just looks differently when it's polynomials. So secondly, I'll talk about, so we'll talk about ninth period in a second here. So we're going to be looking at polynomial long division, and then we'll have some homework, a ticket out. So students will be able to divide polynomials using long division so they can solve math applications. And again, we already know how to add polynomials. We know how to subtract polynomials. We already know how to multiply polynomials. And now we're going to know how to divide polynomials. So it's just natural that we know how to use all 4 ways of doing this. And polynomial long division is going to be something that you're going to be needing for next year as well, when you're doing pre-calculus. Just to briefly talk about ninth period. So on Friday, so that's tomorrow, if you have missing standards, I'm going to be making an assignment that's going to be sent to you through Google Classroom. So Friday at 8 a.m. Any missing standards, it'll come as an assignment. And there's also a process there too as to how to complete them. So there's going to be a key. There's also a toolkit, and then there's a practice as well. So the practice and then the key and the toolkit, you can use those. And then I'm also going to be having on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so starting tomorrow, or today rather, so Tuesday and Thursday, from 2 to 4 is basically going to be the new ninth period time. So if you have questions about ninth period stuff, Tuesday, Thursday, 2 to 4 is when I'll have office hours for you to ask questions, demonstrate standards. And what I'm asking you to do is do the practice, and then I'll just have you explain how you did a couple problems on the practice. So you'll just explain what you did in the process without obviously me helping you, but I mean, I can help you before, but then once we're like, all right, so now you're explaining, it'll just be what you'll be saying. So let's keep moving on. So when we look at this problem, we're like, whoa, we have to divide this polynomial by this polynomial, and we're thinking, what are we going to be doing? So it's doing the same steps. If we just review our steps, step 1 is first thing we're going to do is we're going to be writing out our division part. So basically we just do our setup. And then what did we do before after we set it up? That's right, we divided first. And then our third step, after we divided, then we multiplied. And then after we multiplied, our fourth step, we subtracted. And we'll see what that looks like here. And then after we subtract, it looks like a lot of steps, but a lot of these we already know. The fifth step is to bring down the number. And then after we bring down the number, then we just repeat. So really the step 6 is just to repeat 2 through 5. And then the last thing that we did is we wrote the remainder as a division, so as a fraction. So write remainder as a fraction. So when we divide this, let's set it up first. So we have x squared minus 2x plus 5. You want to see how does that go into this one here? So we have 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed. Oh, wait a minute, we don't have an x squared part here. So what we really have here in this one here is we have plus a 0x squared. And in polynomial long division, it's normally, I mean, if we were dividing this as a number, there would be a 0 there if there wasn't anything. So, but we still have to put a 0 in. So we have to write plus 0 x squared. That's part of the setup, is to put in these missing terms. All right, plus 4x minus 6. All right, so first step, setup, we got it. Second step, divide. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to divide the first term. So, and I'm going to be editing some over here. So divide first terms. Well, first terms, I don't know what that means. All right, so divide our first term. So it's 3x to the 4th divided by x squared. So it looks like this. 3x to the 4th divided by x squared. And what does that equal? That equals 3x squared. So 3x squared, that has to go in the x squared column. So we're going to notice that all of our terms in this column here are going to be x squared. All of them in this column will be x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x, and constant term. So let's write that in. So we write 3x squared. So now after we divide first terms, now we multiply. Oh, I don't know why I put multiplied. We should put multiply instead. All right, so we multiply. So 3x squared times x squared. Notice we get the same number. We should get the same number here. All right, 3x squared times x times negative 2x. We have a negative 6x cubed. 3x squared times 5 would be positive 15 x squared. So now what we do is after we multiply, now we're going to subtract. So subtract means when we subtract a polynomial, what do we have to do? That's right, we have to switch the signs. So this becomes negative, positive, negative. So we switch the signs. So subtract really means switch the signs. All right, so we switch the signs. This cancels out just like we wanted to. This becomes a 1x cubed. And then this becomes a negative 15x squared. So we subtracted. Now we bring down the number. So now we're going to bring down this 4x squared. So now we have plus 4x. All right, so we brought down the number. Step 6 says repeat 2 through 5. So now we're going to divide the first terms. This is what we're looking at now in the bottom here. So we're going to divide x cubed with x squared. So we have x cubed divided by x squared. What does that give us? That's right, x. It needs to go above the x in the x column. So it's positive, so we plus x. What do we do after we divide first terms? And we multiply. So x times x squared, we get x cubed. X times negative 2x, negative 2x squared. X times 5x. All right, so it looks like it's coming along pretty good here. I just realized that my battery's running low, so I'm going to pause. All right, back again. Battery is charging up. Great, so what we just did is we multiplied. After we multiply, we subtract, which means switch the signs. So let's subtract these and switch the signs. So subtract, plus, minus. All right, so x cubed minus x cubed, 0 again, just like we had before. And let's do this, negative 15x squared plus 2 would be negative 13x squared. 4 minus 5x will be negative x, negative 1x. What do we do after we subtract? Bring down the number, so minus 6. All right, what do we do next? Repeat, 2 through 5. That's right, repeat, 2 through 5. Okay, so divide first terms. So divide negative 13x squared divided by x squared. Oh, what happens here? It's just negative 13. So it's a constant term. Oh, it goes above the constants. All right, so minus 13. So negative 13 times x squared will be negative 13x squared. Negative 13 times negative 2, positive 26x. Negative 13 times 5. Ooh, so 5 times 12 is 60. So 13 would be 65. So this is going to be a negative 65. All right. And then what do we do after we multiply? We subtract, switch the signs. So now this becomes, let's put the line here first. So it becomes plus, minus, plus. All right, so that cancels out just like it did before. Negative 1 minus 26, negative 27, x. Negative 6, positive 65 will be a positive 59. All right, and then after we subtract, bring down the number, no number to bring down. So now after we bring, if we can't do step 5, then we write remainder as a fraction. So this is our remainder. So now what we do is we add the remainder. So we just put plus negative 27x plus 59, negative 27x plus 59 over x squared minus 2x plus 5. And this is our solution. This is the answer. When you divide this polynomial by this polynomial, we get this as our solution. So if you need to re-watch this video, I know the process takes a while. Notice that once we get to a certain part, we just keep repeating. So a lot of times that we had to repeat 3 times. This was also the hardest one that we're going to have to divide. That's right, this is the hardest one we'll have to divide, something where it's like x squared, something we're dividing by a quadratic, and we have a 4th term divided by a quadratic. We're not going to do anything more difficult than this. We're going to see the next one is just going to be dividing by a binomial, so let's look at that one next. So remember these steps. This is also a good time for me to point out that what we can do is we can also look at the toolkit. So the toolkit's attached to this. In the toolkit, it has a problem. Oh, and it's really similar to the one that we did. It's not exactly the same, but so what we have here is we have a pretty similar problem where you're dividing a quadratic by this quartic, and it has the steps, so you can use this as a guide too as well. When you get down to here, it just says repeat steps 2 through 4, so we just keep repeating those things. So that's something that is available to you, and then we'll also be looking at synthetic division next, and that's another way of dividing. So there's going to be another little easier way to do this, some people find. All right, so back to what we're looking at. So we're just going to do one more, and then we'll be done for today. So we have this division problem. So how does the setup work? That's right, this is the part we're dividing by, so that becomes the outside. So we'll write x minus 2. We have our division symbol, so x to the 4th minus 2x squared. Wait a minute, that doesn't work. We have to have a plus 0x cubed in there. Remember, each column is going to represent a place in this polynomial. So we can't put that there. We have to put a 0x cubed. All right, so then we do minus 2x squared plus 7x minus 5. All right, so let's divide. So first step, divide. X to the 4th divided by x is x cubed. We write x cubed on top of the x cubed. X cubed times x is x to the fourth. X cubed times -2 is -2x cubed. And then after we multiply, that's right, we subtract, switch all the signs. So that becomes 0, 2x cubed, bring down the minus 2x squared. And then after we bring down the number, we repeat. So we divide. 2x cubed divided by x would be 2x squared. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. We get back the same thing here. 2x squared times -2, -4x squared. Now we do what? That's right, we switch the signs. And then we combine them. This will be a 2x squared. Bring down the number. Oops, I said it before asking. What do we do next? That's right, bring down the number. All right, so now what do we do next? That's right, we divide first term. So 2x squared divided by x will be 2x. Notice that the x is one less, cubed squared x. All right, and it's just above the x column. So 2x times x, 2x squared, we get back the same thing. And then what do we do next? That's right, we got to keep multiplying. So 2x times -2 will be -4x. And then we have to do what? That's right, switch the signs. 0, 11x. All right, and then what do we do? That's right, bring down the number. So -5, oops. So we got a -5 here. What do we do after we bring down the number? Yep, we have to divide. So 11x divided by x is 11. 11 times x, same thing. 11 times -2, -22. What do we do after we multiply? That's right, we are subtracting, so we have to switch the signs. Don't forget to switch both. 0, -5 plus 22 will be a +17. All right, so can we bring down a number? We have nothing left to bring down. So now what do we do? That's right, we would write it as a remainder. So the remainder is going to be what? 17 over x minus 2. So let's add it on. So we add the remainder plus 17 over, let me not put that as a diagonal. I want to put it as a horizontal line here, over x minus 2. And this is our answer that we get when we divide polynomials. So we're dividing this divided by, now notice that when we divide by x to the fourth by x, we get x cubed for our first term. In the one that we previously just did, what did we divide? We divided x to the fourth divided by x squared, and we got an x squared. So notice that that's going to be pretty common. That's our first step anyway, is to divide the first terms. All right, if you want, you can do this one as well. I'm not going to do this one with you, but if you want to divide this one, you can do so. And then let's look at our practice. So 5.3, practice 1, divide using polynomial long division. And today it's actually pretty short. We have these two problems, so 1 and 2, and then we have number 3. That's it. That's your homework. So those 3 problems, they take a little bit longer. Make sure to use that toolkit, right? Use the toolkit, use your notes, toolkit plus notes. And you'll be able to divide polynomials using long division. And then we'll be looking at math applications on another day. All right, and you don't have any homework to correct, but that's right, we have to take it out. So describe the steps to dividing polynomials, just those steps that we talked about. If you don't remember, go back and look and then write that out. How confident are you in dividing polynomials? So give your evidence on that right now. I hope you all have a great day. And again, we hope you're all doing well. We hope you, if you have any questions, make sure that you're contacting us. We definitely want to help you through this. We know that it's not easy. It's not easy for us either. I don't want to make it seem like life is all great for me right now. It's definitely a struggle for everyone. but we can all help each other out through this. So make sure that you're seeking the help that you need, and we hope you the best. And I'll hopefully see you either today for 9th hour office hours from 2 to 4, or I will see you on Wednesday, or I mean Friday from office hours. Those are from 12 to 2. So I don't know why I said Wednesday. Today's Thursday. So either I'll see you today from 2 to 4, or hopefully I see you tomorrow from 12 to 2. Talk to you later. Bye.